Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow. In today's episode, I'm going to get into an interesting episode, and we'll talk about the influences and stuff of anime to popular culture. Okay, now obviously we've now have anime in our sort of say popular culture for a while as a separate genre. Ever since probably like the 90s, we've had anime, but now we've slowly seen the infiltration of anime items and things into our pop culture. And so today's episode, I want to take some time and take a look at some of the ones that have shown up. All right. So before I begin, I'd like to remind people to go down below, click like and subscribe. That helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to other people and whatnot. Okay. If you also want to support me financially, I also have the Super Thanks as well as the PayPal and Patreon links below. I've also now just posted 2 more new episodes to the Patreon, those special episodes of content specifically for the subscribers. And again, I really thank you for all the support that you've given me. All right. So today's episode, again, I want to get into some of the examples of anime in popular culture, and I want to kind of look at that special sort of light. Because obviously, there are obviously lots of easy references where, certain animes have references to older animes and that kind of stuff. That's always very common. That's very easy to do. It's probably also very easy to have animations that have references to different animes. For example, maybe like South Park with their, Pokemon episode, or, different references to, let's say anime and things like maybe like Robot Chicken, other sorts of animations referring to anime. Okay, so I'm not gonna include those ones because those ones are can be tailored towards the references that they're given, right? Using animes in sort of more real life sort of situations and that whatnot, and movies and that kind of stuff. Those are a little bit harder because they actually have to be written into the plot. And of course, then the actors and the stuff that has to do those roles needs to have reference to those. So those are a little more important. Again, I'm just going to do a couple here. If you can think of some and some, put it in the comments below, and then maybe we'll make a sort of a volume 2 or something, and then we'll go over those references as well. All right. So without further delay, let's go through some of these examples. So what I first mentioned is that I don't want to talk about animes referred in another type of anime, because obviously it's very easy to put this little kind of clip into and put into it. So for example, here we have the iconic Kaneda slide on his motorbike from the movie Akira. And you can see that various different sort of animations and different sort of North American animations have decided to use and put this iconic scene into their show. And again, because it's animation and that kind of stuff, it's very easy to fill and put that in or write it in very easily, right? So for that reason, I don't want to talk particularly about this type of anime referring to another anime. Okay, what I want to try to get into in this episode is to talk about actual, let's say, anime references used in, let's say, a movie or a TV show, or some particular actor talking about anime, because obviously that is something that's got to be scripted. That's got to be something that an actor or that kind of stuff has to actually acknowledge or use in the thing.
Does Samuel L. Jackson like anime?
Yes, I do. Hentai too.
So you have never watched anime?
No, I haven't given it a try, to be honest with you.
And why is that?
I just think that it's more for kids.
Oh, come on.
I'm too old to be watching these Japanese cartoons.
But you're not, though.
I'm 69.
Let me tell you, anime has the best, if not the greatest storytelling out there.
Oh, come on. Better than Spielberg, Tarantino?
Okay, there's Ichiro Oda, or should I say Goda, has written an anime that's truly just fucking phenomenal.
Oh, he's talking about One Piece.
I sure am.
A piece of what, though? What are we talking about here?
It's something you gotta experience yourself. I guarantee if you watch it, you'll be like immersed in this amazing story.
I think I may have to check this one out.
First example is Samuel L. Jackson, and of course, he has done different work with anime. For example, he does the voicing in Afro Samurai. He also lends his voice into the anime-inspired show The Boondocks. He plays Zog in the Astro Boy 2009 movie. So I mean, he does have some voice acting things in that. But in addition to just doing that, he did specify that he has interest in watching different sorts of anime. Of course, One Piece, as he mentioned in the interview with Howard Stern. But he has been said and quoted to like things like the Black Lagoon, Ninja Scroll, which is always a classic type of anime that a lot of people really get into, and of course he's also interested in really like Naruto, for example. So this is just sort of one example where a popular culture figure mentioned that he enjoys anime, and of course, including hentai. One of the questions one of these days is just someone to ask him which hentais he likes, but maybe that's another question for another interview.
You know that close to 1% of the population identifies as asexual?
You really gotta get you laid. I have to plow that furrow myself, so be it.
I have a patient.
So in this episode of House, you can see he's holding basically what looks to be like a doujinshi, comic style type of manga, right? And if you take a closer look at it, it doesn't even have Japanese writing and that kind of stuff. It actually is a piece of work done by the resident storyboarder. Okay, his name is Caesar Limas, and he basically makes various different types of artwork and storyboards, that kind of stuff. But he actually made this special anime-like cover for this, this particular episode, so that when House is holding, his comic, it actually has a proper manga-looking like actual cover. The person has actually done lots of different sort of storyboarding and episode boardings for various different episodes of House and whatnot. And he has it on his blog of all his different types of works and that kind of stuff. But this is sort of one instance where there is an anime reference, specifically planted into the episode of House there. Now this is not the only one. There's another one that he also does here.
Also meant sharing the air.
Chlorine gas pools near the ground. He thought he'd be safe in the top bunk.
Well, why would anyone try to poison our guy?
He makes a living sending people to prison.
But he's not in prison, and it's kind of hard to gas a guy unless you can seal him in a room first.
Which is why Arceus created a universe with 3 states of matter and 300 solid and liquid poisons that could cause his symptoms.
Arceus?
Look it up.
There's another great anime reference in the series House, where he makes reference to Arceus, the mythical Pokemon from the Sinnoh region.
Whoa! Jake!
Hi.
I was just talking to your dad. What do you have there?
Evangelion.
Oh. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Wow. What does he do?
Well, he's a good guy. He can fly, and he has a silver sword that can kill bad guys.
Really?
Yeah. And he's 60 feet tall.
And you really want this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Jake, come on. No more toys. We're leaving.
Gotta go.
Well, I'll put this back for you, okay?
Thanks. See ya.
See you later.
So this is a great scene of kind of a spin-off of, I guess, a Walmart and Robin Williams in the movie 1 Hour Photo, and apparently this Evangelion figure is actually from Robin Williams' actual personal collection, and was used as a prop in this particular movie. So it's interesting that again, it'd be kind of neat to find out what else he had in his collection. But this is another example of people that are interested in anime and the influence that the anime has on popular culture. It's just not just restricted to just ordinary people like you and me, but also the actors and high profile people as well.
What happened last night? There's no way.
I can see the whole room? How?
I wanted to make a mention of the My Vampire System, although it's just being a podcast. It can be easy altered to make anime references. Even with that, the fact that they actually had made this sort of promo ad, and the fact that they actually had to take the time to actually, to put the setting in place, to depict this guy's room all full of anime posters and that kind of stuff. It really wasn't that different than what I was back in 1987 when I had my room all covered with, all the most famous stars from the 80s and that kind of stuff. And I was just starting to get into anime, and I was starting to change and do anime posters and that kind of stuff. And I was starting to switch out my collection from pop stars to anime posters and that kind of stuff. It really actually wasn't that much different than the way I had my room set up. And so I just wanted to just sort of point out that even though sure something like My Vampire System it's just a podcast type of thing. It's just the fact that they actually spent the time to actually make that reference to anime and that kind of stuff, and take the time to actually make the setting right. It's just something of an interesting note, and it just kind of hit me in a special way because obviously I was exactly like that. Okay, hope you found that this is rather interesting. And again, I'd like to make some more volumes of this where we go over some of the other references and that kind of stuff that have come in different sort of shows and popular culture, and these references to the anime. Okay, again, if you have any of them that you can think of or that you've seen, sure, put it in the comments below, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of make a compilation, and we'll do that for the next episode, right? So, until next time, I will see you again.